My girlfriend was secretly back in bed with her ex while draining my savings to fuel their late-night rendezvous, so I set a silent, bulletproof plan in motion to expose her betrayal at our anniversary party. And the fallout utterly obliterated her world. I'm 30 years old, and I've been working as a financial analyst in Manhattan for the past 8 years. It's not the flashiest job in the world, but it pays well. And I've always been the type of guy who likes to take care of the people I love. For the last 3 years, I was in a relationship with Vanessa. She's 28, stunning, and had this effortlessly stylish, trendy vibe. When we first met, she told me she was trying to become a fashion influencer. I was genuinely impressed by her drive and ambition. Back then, she had just over 3,000 followers on Instagram. Her feed was a mix of selfies, random outfit photos, and inspirational quotes about chasing your dreams. She used to talk about getting discovered and working with major brands, but she was also upfront about how hard it was to break into the industry. I was drawn to her energy. She had this way of talking about her goals that made you believe in her. And yeah, I wanted to support her. Not like a hero or anything, but I figured if I had the ability to make things easier for her, why not? At first, it was just small stuff, nice dinners, helping her pick out outfits for her posts, or surprising her with little accessories she mentioned wanting but couldn't afford. She'd light up every time and say things like, "Oh my god, this is perfect for a shoot." Seeing her that happy made me feel good. But over time, those little things turned into much bigger things. She started saying things like, if I want brands to take me seriously, I have to look the part. So I started buying her designer clothes and the occasional luxury handbag. Then, occasional turned into often. Next came the photos. She said phone pictures weren't cutting it anymore. She needed professional shots. That's how influencers get noticed, she said. So I paid for some photo sessions with local photographers. Then came travel. She claimed that all the influencers who landed big deals were constantly flying to stylish locations. So I covered a few trips. I told myself it was an investment in her future, and by extension, ours. To be fair, Vanessa wasn't ungrateful. She'd smile, thank me, and even post sweet captions about how lucky she was to have someone who believed in her. But after a while, the gratitude started to feel automated. Like she was just checking off a box before asking for the next thing. At first, I didn't mind. I cared about her, and I wanted her to succeed. But slowly, I realized she wasn't just relying on me, she was expecting it. The moment things shifted for me was during a trip to Los Angeles about a year ago. I paid for the whole thing, her flight, hotel, everything, because she swore this was going to be the trip that changed her life. She was supposed to network, meet people in the industry, finally get her foot in the door. Instead, she spent the entire trip lounging by the pool, taking selfies and shopping. Not a single meeting, not one meaningful connection. When I gently brought it up, she brushed me off. You don't get it, she said. It's about building the image first. That was the first time I seriously thought, wait, am I being used? But I pushed the thought away. I mean, I was financially stable, and I figured maybe she just needed more time to find her path. We were still happy, or so I thought. Fast forward to our 3rd anniversary. I wanted to do something special, something unforgettable. So I planned a luxury getaway to Montauk. I booked a gorgeous oceanfront suite, made reservations at top-tier restaurants, even set up a sunset cruise I thought she'd love. When I showed her the plans, I expected her to be thrilled. Instead, she hesitated and said, Montauk is nice, but there's this other coastal town I've really wanted to visit. It's smaller, more unique. I've heard the shops and restaurants are amazing. She said it sweetly, but something about it felt off. I mean, who turns down Montauk? I asked why she preferred the other place, and she just said, it's more romantic. And we've never been there before. She was so insistent, and I didn't want to ruin the vibe by pushing back. So I gave in. It wasn't like I was married to Montauk anyway, and if it made her happy, then fine. Looking back, that moment should have been a red flag. She wasn't just being picky, she had a motive. I just didn't see it yet. The trip started off great, at least on the surface. We arrived at this charming coastal town she'd picked out, and she was buzzing with excitement. The second we got into the hotel room, she was snapping pictures of everything, the view, the decor, even the chocolates on the pillow. This is gonna get so many likes, she said, laughing. And I laughed too, not realizing how much that one sentence summed up her priorities. That first day was great. We hit the beach, had an amazing seafood lunch, and explored the local shops. Vanessa looked genuinely happy, and I started to think maybe I'd done the right thing after all. If she was smiling, then it was worth it, right? But that night at dinner, things took a weird turn. We were at this intimate little Italian restaurant, and out of nowhere, Vanessa brought up marriage. She was playing with her pasta and said, we've been together for 3 years now. That's a long time. I nodded. Yeah, it has. It's flown by. She smiled, but it felt a little too rehearsed. Don't you think it's time we talked about the future? You know, settling down. I froze for a second. Not because I was against the idea, but because we'd never had a real conversation about it before. And the timing just felt weird. I mean, it's definitely something to think about, I said, trying to stay calm. But are you sure this is the moment you want to bring that up? She laughed, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. Why not? It's a romantic trip. Perfect time to talk about what's next for us. I shrugged. Fair enough. What exactly do you mean by what's next? Her tone shifted as she leaned in closer. Well, it just makes sense to start planning for marriage, doesn't it? It's the next logical step. And once we're married, things like finances will be so much easier. We'd share everything. No more separate accounts. And, just like that, my stomach turned. It wasn't about love. It wasn't about wanting a future together. It was about money. I took a sip of water to buy myself a second. I mean, combining finances is a big step, I said carefully. Honestly, if we ever did get married, I'd probably want to talk about a prenup. Just to make sure we're both protected. Her expression changed instantly. She set her fork down and stared at me like I'd just insulted her family. A prenup? She repeated, her voice sharp. Why would you even think about something like that? Her reaction completely threw me off. It wasn't about trust. It was about control. I tried to play it cool and smooth things over. It's just a practical step, I said. It protects both of us, you know? She laughed, but it wasn't the warm, easy laugh I was used to. It was cold, dismissive. Wow, she said, I didn't realize you thought I'd try to take advantage of you. That's not what I meant, I replied, trying not to sound defensive. I just think it's smart to have everything clear from the start. It doesn't mean I don't trust you. The next day felt tense. Vanessa acted like everything was fine, at least on the surface. She posted a picture of her breakfast on Instagram, all smiles and captions about vacation bliss, and talked about what she wanted to do that day. But there was a chill in how she interacted with me. She wasn't cold or mean outright, but the affection wasn't there like it usually was. It felt like I was being punished for bringing up the prenup, silently, subtly. Still, I tried to brush it off. Relationships have rough patches, right? Nothing to freak out about. I focused on keeping the day light and fun. We wandered around town that morning, checking out cute little shops and enjoying the sights. Vanessa seemed to soften a little, but now and then she'd drop a line that made me pause. This town is so charming, she said once. The kind of place I'd love to come back to with someone who really sees its value. I blinked. What does that mean? She brushed it off with a laugh. Nothing. Just saying, it's romantic, that's all. But those kinds of comments kept happening. I told myself I was overthinking it, but something felt off. It wasn't just the comments or the leftover awkwardness from dinner. It was her energy, distracted, distant, like her mind was somewhere else. Deep down, I started to realize this wasn't about love for her. She wasn't pushing for marriage because of her feelings. She saw it as a way to lock in access to my life, my money, all of it. That night, as we went to bed, the feeling just wouldn't leave me. The woman next to me didn't feel like the woman I thought I knew. On the third morning, things started off like normal. Vanessa was lying in bed, glued to her phone, scrolling through influencer content. I got up and ordered room service for breakfast, thinking we'd have a chill morning before heading out again. While we were eating, she suddenly lit up. Oh my god, she said, holding up her phone. There's this bag shop downtown, super exclusive. They only carry rare designer pieces. I'd never get to shop somewhere like that back home. I nodded mid-bite. Cool. Want me to come with you? She shook her head fast, almost too fast. No. You don't have to. I know shopping's not your thing. I'll probably take forever deciding anyway. I don't want you to be bored. That struck me as odd. We'd done everything together on this trip. Why the sudden need for alone time? But I let it go. All right, I said casually. Just let me know if you need anything. She smiled sweetly and kissed my cheek. You're the best. I'll probably only be gone an hour or two. But an hour or two turned into 4. At first, I didn't think too much of it. Vanessa could be indecisive when shopping, especially for expensive stuff. But as time passed, I started feeling uneasy. She hadn't texted or called at all. That wasn't like her. Vanessa usually kept me in the loop, even if it was just to gush about a cute cafe or send a selfie trying on a new outfit. But today? Nothing. Something felt off. I checked our shared credit card account. No purchases. No charge from the bag shop. No charge from anywhere. That didn't add up. If she'd been shopping for hours, she would have bought something. My gut told me something was wrong. I threw on a jacket and went out to look around. I wandered through downtown, checking shops, casually scanning for her. Eventually, I made my way to the marina, where the boardwalk ended in a quiet spot with benches overlooking the water. And that's where I saw her. She wasn't alone. Vanessa was sitting on a bench with a man I instantly recognized, Ryan, her ex. I'd seen him in old Instagram posts when we first got together, but she told me they were long over. They were sitting too close. Vanessa laughed at something he said, her hand resting on his arm. He leaned in, relaxed and familiar in a way that made my stomach turn. I ducked behind a nearby ice cream stand, trying to stay out of sight. I wanted to storm over and demand answers, but something told me to wait. Then I heard them. You really convinced him to come here? Ryan asked, smirking. Vanessa laughed, a sound that suddenly made my skin crawl. Of course. I told him this place was romantic, buttered him up a bit. He didn't question it. Ryan grinned. Well, it worked. I missed you. I missed you too, Vanessa said, resting a hand on his knee. Sneaking around is exhausting. Soon, Ryan replied, leaning in. We'll figure it out. Just keep playing along, you're good at this. They laughed again, oblivious to me standing just yards away. My hands shook with anger, but I stayed calm. I pulled out my phone and snapped a few photos. If she was going to lie to my face, I needed the truth in my pocket. I walked away, my head spinning. This wasn't just a harmless meetup. This was full-on betrayal. Vanessa hadn't chosen this town for its charm. She picked it because it was the perfect cover to see Ryan. And I'd been clueless enough to go along with it. Back at the hotel, I tried to gather my thoughts. Part of me wanted to confront her the second she walked in, but the other part wanted to wait. If she could lie like this, I needed to see just how deep it went. She finally came back hours later, holding a bag from the designer shop she mentioned. Hey, she said cheerfully, like nothing had happened. I found the perfect bag. You're going to love it. I forced a smile. Looks like you had a good time. How much was it? Oh, I used cash, she said quickly, eyes flicking away. That was a lie. Vanessa never used cash. I'd already checked the card, there were no purchases. Ryan must have paid for it. The thought made my stomach twist. And the marina? I asked casually. Her smile froze for a split second. What marina? I didn't go near the water. I was at the shop the whole time. I nodded, pretending to buy it. Got it. Sounds like a productive day. She lit up again, completely missing the edge in my voice. It was. Thanks for letting me do my thing. I can't wait to show you the bag. I didn't say much after that. Vanessa just went about her evening like nothing had happened, showing me the bag, chatting about what she wanted to do the next day. I nodded in all the right places, but inside I was furious. The woman I thought I loved hadn't just betrayed me, she'd used my money and my trust to do it. By the time she was asleep, I was already figuring out how to handle it. She thought she had the upper hand, but she was about to learn just how wrong she was. That night, I couldn't stop replaying everything I saw and heard at the marina. Vanessa's laugh, the way she leaned into Ryan, their disgusting little jokes about how clueless I was, it all kept running through my head. The betrayal alone was awful, but the fact that she thought I was too dumb to notice made it 10 times worse. When I finally dragged myself out of bed the next morning, Vanessa was already up. She was lounging in one of the hotel's fluffy robes, scrolling through her phone. She looked up and gave me this bright, innocent smile like nothing had happened. Morning, babe. Did you sleep okay? She asked. I wanted to confront her right then and there, but I didn't. Not yet. Yeah, I guess, I said, keeping my voice neutral. What about you? Like a baby, she replied, stretching like she had no care in the world. I needed that. Yesterday was exhausting. I nodded, poured myself some coffee, and acted like I was focused on the cup while she rambled about how much she loved the hotel. I was thinking, she said, flipping her phone around to show me a photo of a cute local restaurant. We should have lunch here today. It's super cute, and I heard the food is amazing. Sure, I said, barely glancing at it. My mind was already elsewhere. I needed to test her, to see just how far she'd take her lies. So, what did you end up doing yesterday? I asked casually as I sat across from her. You were gone for a while. She didn't miss a beat. Oh, just shopping, she said with a wave of her hand. That bag store was incredible. I spent forever trying to choose one. She was smooth, too smooth. The way she lied so confidently was almost impressive. Interesting, I said, leaning back. I thought I saw you near the marina yesterday. Her smile twitched, just a little. The marina? Oh no, that wasn't me. I didn't go anywhere near the water. Must have been someone else. Must have been, I said with a shrug, sipping my coffee. I could feel her watching me, trying to read if I suspected anything. I gave her nothing. Let her sweat. At lunchtime, we went to the restaurant she picked. Vanessa immediately started taking pictures of the table, the menu, even her drink when it arrived. This is perfect, she said, angling her phone. My followers are gonna love this. Looks great, I muttered, barely paying attention. I couldn't stop thinking about Ryan and how he probably bought that bag for her. I wanted to confront her, to see her reaction, but I held back. I needed to play it smart. Calling her out in public wouldn't get me the answers I wanted. When the food arrived, Vanessa barely touched hers. She was too busy taking pictures and scrolling on her phone. You're quiet, she said, looking up. What's on your mind? Just tired, I said. Didn't sleep well. She gave me a sympathetic smile. Poor baby. We'll take it easy this afternoon. Maybe go shopping together. The nerve of her. I nodded and forced a smile. Sounds good. Later, we stopped by a boutique that sold handmade jewelry. Vanessa held up a necklace to her neck and smiled at me playfully. What do you think? Would this look good in my next post? It's nice, I said without much interest. She pouted. Just nice? Babe, you're supposed to hype me up. I forced a laugh. All right, it's gorgeous. Much better, she said, grinning. Then, as casually as if she were asking about the weather, she brought up marriage again. I couldn't believe her. Sneaking around with her ex, lying straight to my face and now talking about marriage? It felt surreal, like I was living in some kind of twisted dream. I mean, it's something to think about, I said carefully. But I don't think we need to rush. Vanessa didn't like that answer. Her tone cooled a bit. I guess. But eventually, right? Eventually, I replied, hoping she'd drop it. The morning we were supposed to leave came early. I slipped out of bed quietly and checked the photos I'd taken at the marina. Every time I looked at them, I felt this mix of rage and relief. Rage at what she'd done, but relief that I finally had the proof. She thought she'd won, but things were about to shift. I packed my things quietly. Vanessa didn't stir, of course she didn't. She could sleep through an earthquake. When my suitcase was zipped up, I took one last look at her. I didn't feel sadness or regret. No second thoughts. Just a cold, steady anger. Before I left, I stopped at the hotel front desk. The clerk smiled as I handed over my key. Checking out early? She asked. Yeah, I said calmly. Just me. My girlfriend's staying a bit longer. She didn't question it. I paid the remaining balance and told them to let Vanessa know her stay was extended, at her own expense. Then I pulled up my airline app and canceled her return ticket. It was harsh, but after everything she'd done, I didn't feel bad about it. She didn't deserve an easy ride. By the time I reached the airport, my phone was blowing up. Vanessa must have woken up and seen the note I left on the nightstand. I'd kept it short. Enjoy your extended vacation. Say hi to Ryan for me. At first, the texts were confused. Babe, where are you? Did you just go out for coffee or something? Then panic set in. What is this? What do you mean by extended vacation? Then came the anger. You canceled my ticket? Are you serious? You're being so dramatic. I didn't answer any of them. I turned my phone on silent and boarded my flight. All I could think about was Vanessa stuck at that hotel, miles from home, no return ticket, and probably not enough money to book one. She relied on me for everything. Without me, her influencer lifestyle was crumbling fast. When I landed, I turned my phone back on and saw a flood of missed calls and messages. Vanessa had cycled through every stage, pleading, accusing, begging. Please, can we talk? This is insane. I didn't even do anything wrong. You're overreacting. I don't have enough money to get home. What am I supposed to do? The last one actually made me laugh. You're humiliating me. How do you think this makes me look? That was what she cared about, how it looked. Not the betrayal. Not the lies. Not how she'd used me. Just the image. Classic Vanessa. I didn't reply. I didn't owe her anything, not an explanation, not closure. She made her choices. Now she had to live with them. And for the first time in a long while, I felt at peace. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't sad. I was just done. The next few days were quiet. I blocked Vanessa's number and deleted her from all my socials. A few mutual friends reached out, asking what happened. Apparently, Vanessa had already started spreading her version of events, making it seem like I'd just ditched her for no reason. But when I sent them the photos of her and Ryan at the marina, the truth was obvious. I can't believe she did that, one friend said. That's so low. I always thought something was off about her. Another said, you're better off without her. That phrase stuck with me, better off. For the first time in years, I felt like I could finally focus on myself, without someone constantly draining my energy and money. Vanessa, on the other hand, wasn't doing so well. I heard through the grapevine that she eventually made it home, though I didn't care enough to find out how. Without my financial support, her influencer dreams started to fall apart. She couldn't keep up the luxury lifestyle her followers expected, and her engagement started tanking. A week later, she showed up at my apartment without warning. I opened the door just wide enough to see her face, but not enough to let her in. She looked awful, puffy eyes, messy hair, none of the fake perfection she always showed online. Please, she said, her voice shaking. Just give me 5 minutes. I can explain everything. I looked at her, feeling absolutely nothing. I don't need an explanation, I said. You didn't make a mistake, Vanessa. You made a choice. Now you have to deal with the consequences. She started crying, but I didn't move. I was stupid, she said, choking back tears. I wasn't thinking. I don't care about Ryan. I care about you. No, you care about what I do for you, I said firmly. And I'm done with that. I closed the door and locked it. Her muffled sobs faded as she walked away, and I felt lighter than I had in years. This was the ending she deserved, and I didn't regret a thing. The next morning, I woke up to a flood of messages from friends. Vanessa had launched a full-on pity campaign on Instagram, cryptic stories about betrayal and starting over. One friend even sent me a screenshot of a post where she wrote, sometimes the people you trust most are the ones who hurt you the worst. I actually laughed. The nerve of her, trying to play the victim when she was the one sneaking around with her ex. But I didn't feel the need to respond. Let her followers believe whatever story she was selling. I had nothing to prove. That afternoon, I got a text from one of our mutual friends, Sarah. She was always real, never fooled by Vanessa's influencer act. Hey, she wrote, Vanessa's trying to make you look like the bad guy. But I told her I know the truth. If you want me to say something publicly, I will. I appreciated it, but I didn't want to waste another ounce of energy on Vanessa. Thanks, but I'm good, I replied. Let her dig her own grave. And dig she did. Over the next week, I kept hearing more about how Vanessa's life was falling apart. Without me paying for her clothes, vacations, and professional photo shoots, her influencer image started to crack. Her followers were used to designer outfits, fancy cafes, and luxury hotels. Now she was trying to fake that lifestyle on a budget, and it wasn't working. She just posted a picture in the same dress as last week, Sarah texted. People in the comments are starting to notice. Another friend sent me one of Vanessa's Instagram stories. She was rambling about embracing minimalism and moving away from material things. It was hilarious, considering this was the same woman who once told me she couldn't wear the same outfit twice because it would ruin her aesthetic. Best part? Ryan, the guy she gave up everything for, ghosted her. A mutual acquaintance told me he bailed the second he realized Vanessa was broke. He's not trying to play daddy to her, they said. She's on her own now. Good. She deserved it. The best decision I made? Rebooking the Montauk trip. The one I had originally planned before Vanessa hijacked it. I went solo this time, and it was exactly what I needed. At one point, I checked Vanessa's account, out of curiosity. Her posts were random now. Blurry mirror selfies, vague motivational quotes, and one awkward attempt at a thrift haul video. Her followers had dropped dramatically, and the comments were brutal. Where's your boyfriend who used to spoil you? Fake influencer vibes. It was this strange mix of satisfaction and pity. Back in Manhattan, things only got better. I started therapy, something I'd put off for years. Talking through everything helped me unpack the anger and hurt I hadn't realized I was carrying. I learned a lot. Why I let someone like Vanessa into my life. Why I ignored the red flags. How to set better boundaries. The last update I got about Vanessa came from Sarah. Apparently, she'd moved back in with her parents and was trying to rebrand herself as a lifestyle coach. Unreal, Sarah texted. She's acting like she's some kind of self-help guru now. I laughed and shook my head. Let her have it, I said. I'm done caring. And that was it. Vanessa got exactly what she deserved. And I got my life back.